Mary, Percy, and Claire moved into their new Italian home, set about resurrecting their circle of the elect. My vacant position was filled by a man named Edward Trelawney, a pirate-looking fellow whose life story was a web of tall tales, plucked from adventure novels and patched together like Frankenstein's monster. Claire steered clear of Bryann, anxious not to violate their agreement, though he had yet to arrange a single visit for her to see Allegra. On the surface, all seemed to be back on track, until the Shelley's son, nicknamed Willmouse, became ill and died. As she was mourning the loss of her last living child, Mary was pregnant again. At least for a little while.
Oh my God, what happened?
She's bleeding. I can't make it stop.
The baby? Her hand, it's so cold.
Ice water.
Is that the right thing to do?
I don't know. I was never a practicing physician. I only worked on things which were already... The doctor should be here any moment.
I can't find a pulse. Percy, is she?
No. No. It's there. It's just so faint.
This is exactly what happened to her mother before she...
This is different. She's going to be fine. No.
What?
She's not breathing.
Percy?
She's alive.
The baby? You brought me back.
Did I?
Yes. You always bring me back to life. Next time, don't.
The physician, when he arrived, told Percy that by placing Mary in a tub of ice water, he had indeed saved her life. Without such intervention, Mary would have bled to death. But other things, besides the body, can perish. The monster was now whole again, its various parts reassembled. But now the monster needed a life to call its own.
Mary? My dearest Mary, wherefore hast thou gone and left me in this dreary world alone? Thy form is here indeed, a lovely one. But thou art fled, gone down the dreary road that leads to sorrow's most obscure abode. Thou sittest on the hearth of pale despair, where, for thine own sake, I cannot follow thee. Do thou return for mine?
How is she?
Pat, I'm afraid. I can't get through to her.
Mary, leave me be.
Mary, why are you doing this to yourself? Or for that matter to Percy. He's worried sick about you.
He should leave me too.
Don't say that.
Claire, don't you understand? I'm cursed. Maybe Percy's first wife with her dying breath cursed me to this misery.
Her nose said nothing of you. And she wished Percy well.
Pay me then.
Annie wouldn't curse you. You know that, Mary. It isn't like you to be superstitious.
What does it matter? Do you prefer the scientific approach? That my mother passed on this fragility to me? Fine then. It does not change how it feels. I'm not blessed to bring life into this world. Death haunts me like a shadow.
I feel strange about this.
I do as well, but I don't know what else to try. Mary, I have a surprise for you.
Hey, baby. Where did it come from?
She's a foundling.
She? It's a little girl. Where will she go?
I was thinking maybe you would like to take care of her? Oh, she has no one else. No one to care for her.
I will then. We will.
Once again, rumors swirled that the baby was not an orphan at all, but rather the second child to be fathered by Percy with Claire. This rumor was passed around like a disease until it was inevitably picked up by Lord Byron. Hearing the same opinion from multiple sources at once, Byron took it as fact and responded accordingly. He ignored all requests from Claire to see her daughter. Months passed without a word. Then, when a letter did come, it was to inform Claire that her little daughter Allegra had been sent to a convent. The ties which bound the elect were now completely unraveled.
How could you? You gave me your word.
What is she doing here?
You haven't held up your end of the bargain. Why should she?
Bargain? You make it sound as though I bought Allegra at the market. She is my daughter. As her father, it is my right to make a judgment call when I feel circumstance demands it.
What circumstance? What could possibly warrant this betrayal?
Betrayal? Yes, let us speak of betrayal. Yours.
Mine?
Don't bother playing the innocent. Allegra is undoubtedly mine. She proved it more and more to me every day. But this new child that has appeared...
Oh, you've been listening to the rumors, haven't you? What did one of your little whores tell you?
The adulterer accuses me of betrayal, and the whore accuses me of whoring. My, did all of you come here to make me giggle?
The child was an orphan, Byron. But more important than your foolish assumption, why would it be the cause of the spite?
And the fool calls me a fool. Now the farce is complete.
I would have known if Claire had been pregnant.
Yes, I assumed you were in on it. My apologies for giving you too much credit. I do not care if the child is Claire's or not. The point is that the three of you are irresponsible radicals who have no business influencing my child.
Now you're going to make me laugh.
Mary, the world is still a cruel place for bastards and young women. I do not intend to support Allegra all her life. I intend for her to marry a decent man who will support her. The convent will be her best chance at social acceptance.
My God. You really think what you're saying is reasonable, don't you?
Speaking cruel truths does not make me cruel. By the way, why do you say my God when you don't even have one?
It's a figure of speech. Stop avoiding the issue by playing word games, Bryann, and explain why you've done this.
That's what I'm doing. Allegra will have a difficult enough time as it is becoming a gentlewoman without radical influence.
Gentlewoman? If what you call gentlewomen are those convent-stifled whores that you cavort with, then I would die to save Allegra from such a fate.
I don't know where this vitriol comes from. Convent-trained women tend to marry well, for they have many qualities of subtlety and grace which a woman like you sorely lacks.
Oh, damn you to hell! You horrible, libelous fiend!
See? No convent-trained woman would say such a thing.
We've heard our own rumors, Bryann. That Allegra was moved from family to family before you sent her away to the convent.
I am no person for her to model herself after, nor the kind of man that she should judge other men by.
Is that why you didn't respond to her letter?
What?
Allegra told me she had sent you a letter asking if you would visit her.
You should not have done that. You should not have gone behind my back.
He shouldn't have had to. You promised that Allegra would never be without one of her parents. Now honor your pledge and release her back to us.
I cannot, in good conscience, extract her from a safe and loving environment to which she is now accustomed.
That's not how I would describe it. She was pale, quiet, not at all the vibrant little girl I remembered.
That vibrant little girl would have gotten herself into a lot of trouble. She was spoiled, demanding.
Oh, the truth emerges. Did you see more of yourself than you wanted to? Things which you despise? Is that why you punished her?
I didn't punish her. You overstepped your bounds, Percy.
Overstepped? You forget, Allegra was born in our household.
How could I forget? The lingering effects were appalling. You were starving her, as you have done with all your offspring.
We fed her plenty.
You fed her only greenery. In order to save the lives of animals, you were willing to sacrifice hers.
Careful, Bryann. You're not one to speak of sacrifice. Even though she is not of our blood, we have shown her more affection than you have ever deigned to give her.
Mary, once you have raised a healthy child to full maturity, then you may lecture me on how to be a parent.
What have you become, Bryann, that you would say such a thing to my wife?
Don't, Percy. You can't shame a rabid dog.
You also can't shame hysterical women who revert to name-calling when they don't get their way. Take your 2 wives and leave my home!
You have no idea what you've lost tonight, Bryann. Do you know what Percy called his new boat? He called it the Don Juan.
We must do something, Percy. Perhaps you could forge Byron's signature.
No,
Why not?
because I cannot. I will not lie and kidnap a child.
But he kidnapped her first.
2 wrongs don't make a right. Besides, Claire, think. Bryann would hunt us down.
Then we run.
How would you propose we do that?
We'll take your boat. We'll take her and we'll sail away.
Run away from Bryann aboard the Don Juan.
But I thought you renamed it.
I did. Ariel was painted in its stead. And during the night, someone painted the original name on the main sail.
Bastard. Do you need any further evidence that we must save Allegra from this insanity?
She's ill, Claire. Bedridden. We cannot move a sick child from place to place. It would kill her.
That place is killing her.
We cannot do anything more of her than the sisters would. Claire, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do now.
You warned me. You warned me not to give her to him. And now I'm all alone.
Not alone.
Well, don't mind me. I don't mean to interrupt.
Mary! This isn't what it looks like!
It's exactly what it looks like. Don't insult my intelligence by saying otherwise. I have bad news. Allegra is dead.
What? Who told you this?
Trelawney. Oh yes, I have my own companion now.
Mary, please. I don't know what came over me.
I understand perfectly. And since you had a shared bond with Allegra, it's quite necessary you need to help each other grieve.
I was comforting Claire and got carried away.
Good. I have been plenty comforted as well. Isn't it funny how it took me this long to attend to my own needs? Byron is right. I am a fool.
What are your needs, Mary? How am I supposed to fulfill them if you won't tell me? You've withdrawn from me.
Yes, you poor thing. All he wants is physical pleasure, and I'm starved
That's
here.
not what this is about.
Is it not? It's like these. Your poems the last few months. I've been carrying them around in case I need to jolt myself back to reality. The serpent has been shut out of paradise. I wonder what that means.
It means I love you.
Except you weren't talking about me. I do not possess the physical features you describe in these poems. I apologize, Percy. I didn't know the one request I made years ago would prove to be so torturous to you. Oh, I know you love me. The problem is you also love Claire and the maid.
The maid?
The maid who bore that orphan child. She has begun to ask for money in return for her silence. I'm debating whether I care enough to pay her.
Stop! Just stop!
Claire, you should be flattered. Percy's been pining for you in silence for some time now. Isn't it nice to be on the receiving end for a change?
I don't give a damn about any of this. My daughter is dead.
And how many of my children have died? I've lost count. All about to say one. But I watched each of his siblings die, and their ghosts haunt me in my sleep. I have had but brief moments of respite from death. Whereas for you, this is your first. Welcome to my nightmare. Experience 3 more, and then I'm not sorry for you.
You're a monster.
You should go comfort her.
Percy did not go to Claire. Instead, he decided to clear his head by sailing. It was a clear summer's day when he embarked on his ship, Ariel, named after the storm-bringing sprite in The Tempest. Just as in the bard's play, Percy's ship was caught in a sudden, violent storm. But when the battered ship returned upon the shore, its crew did not emerge. Trelawney found the body and went to break the news to the rest of the elect. They gathered there on the beach to build a funeral pyre for Percy Shelley. On the last page of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, it reads, "I shall ascend my funeral pyre triumphantly and exult in the agony of the torturing flames. The light from that conflagration will fade away, my ashes will be swept into the sea. Percy's body was set ablaze, and from the ashes of the pyre, one thing was saved: his heart. For the years to come, it would remain in the possession of the one to whom it had always belonged, Mary Shelley.
It isn't him. It can't be.
I saw the hideous phantasm of a man stretched out.
Do not speak of him as a monster.
You're right. He never was the monster. He once called me a child of love and light. But he was mistaken. The one he spoke of was himself.
You warned me, Mary. Only now do I understand what you meant. I never thought. Oh, Mary, please forgive me. It's too late to ask forgiveness from him.
You take too much credit, as usual. He never would have gone out if I hadn't been so cold toward him. Made him think I didn't love him, that I loved another.
What? You weren't in love with Trelawney?
Claire, Trelawney spoke of no one but you. I only told Percy that to wound him. And thus I struck the mortal blow. It was I who was the monster.
Mary, I didn't mean that.
Claire,
Don't you dare! Don't you dare ask forgiveness for me, for you will receive none. You killed my daughter, and I hate you. I will hate you as long as I draw breath.
So be it. I deserve as much. Mary, you may now lecture me over a leg if you wish. I said that you could criticize me once you raised a healthy child, and your child seems as healthy as any, despite his diet.
Your actual stipulation is raised to maturity. He is barely 3.
You know what I mean. Mary, you said I'd drive those who love me mad. It stings with truth. Out of harsh words and harsher actions, I have fashioned my own ghosts, my own demons, my own monsters to haunt me. Polidori, Claire, Percy. Who knows, even Trelawney I may eventually break. But of all the monsters I've created, you are, by far, my favorite. What will you do now?
Keep him alive the only ways I know how. Take care of the son who bears his name, as well as his works.
Is that all? Will you do nothing for yourself?
I am sure I'll continue writing. But I do not care if I'm remembered.
Oh, but you will be. You will be.